Alrighty, Roo and Cuckoo Kachu to you and all my nobodies now watching out there. We're just gonna pick back up, try to continue on. I feel like we're reaching the culmination and I just want to fucking finish this game. I'm sad that I have enjoyed this game more than the other one. And I just pushed so hard to get through the last one. And I've taken so much more time just to make this game enjoyable to me and just gone off on tangents or whatever, but Kadir, the lone ace up his sleeve, a downright shady ability to perfectly maneuver around all his SI activities. God, Callahan's decline was apparent to all, and a domino effect made his empire slowly crumble. Up until recently, he'd done an admirable job keeping up with the times and getting away with murder, but suddenly, all the prison spotlights were on him. Dude, this so sounds like you're just twisting and turning it to make it whatever you need it to be, man. The recent stories we hear about him all depict a depressed, downright manic recluse, lashing out at everyone, struggling and utterly failing to fit into the new reality he found himself in. I mean, I guess that's one interpretation in the sense that if you look at it from the perspective of a mob that was just about to eviscerate him and kill him, that's one way you could look at it. Or you could look at it like, you know, again, I don't have the highest amount of faith in the guy that travels around in a super secret limo all the time and I trounced and is definitely not on my side and wants to hurt me. I don't know if I can trust him. Lying would make sense, but not that much sense. What makes more sense is he chose not to get involved simply because he didn't want to be there, or he just kept himself out of being involved but was there but didn't, was invisible, you know. A closed room, no evidence of struggle, a lack of strong whodunit, a corpse being found in the very early evening hours. The conclusion is simple. It was the classic closed room mystery. He done it to himself. Callan's final death was self-inflicted. Suicide, to put it in simple terms. Silence has filled the room. Julia just sitting there like, I mean, I guess maybe if you were surrounded by people who were gonna make it worse for you, you might just let it happen, but he doesn't strike me as that person. What strikes me as that person is, oh, I'll fight every one of you and I was going to blackmail you and get you all together and hopefully you would just kill each other, and that didn't happen. So while that was occurring, and you guys maybe started but didn't finish, somebody was just like, and stab you in the heart, you've been staked, and just was very careful about it to not leave a lot of evidence, which again, didn't know that if you stake a vampire in the heart, that if they get burned up by the sun, they just leave a skeleton or evidence at all. My understanding is the sun pretty much finishes you off. Like, if you became a vampire the day before and you reach the sun, there's gonna be like a skeleton, you know, maybe a rotting corpse, but pretty much just a skeleton. That skeleton's gonna face the same rigors of time as you do. Only, also there's fire, so you're not gonna get, you know, like, turned into some little statue. Like, you're pretty much just done, but whatever, I don't know. So, wow, that really is the angle they'll be pushing, isn't it? Let's hear it, Sheriff. I will explain. It was an independent detective who first set me onto this theory, only last night. I talked to this guy that I found who is my actual old friend, and he told me, he suggested a possibility about this. Not necessarily said that's what happened. And then Julia and him went off and actually investigated the thing themselves and talked about it. And then he did more his detective thing, and Julia has her own opinions, which none of which from either of them will be heard. That's just how it rolls, because I think just talking to him about it was more than enough information without actually going to the crime scene, which he hadn't seen, and considering the reason he was in hiding in the first place, or any of Julia's observations. Just, you know, I am the sheriff after all. There's no suicide note of any kind, of course, but the message "are recently departed" might not have necessarily been a verbal one. He's just gonna be like, I had this painting that doesn't really make a lot of sense and would really make it seem like I'm a bad person. It's like, was he even a Toreador? I thought he was a Ventru. I mean, maybe he would still do that, but I just don't know. I feel like a Ventru's got to say their part. Maybe they don't want to ruin their legacy, but real talk, vampires don't really have legacies unless they last for a certain time. And if you're an asshole and everybody kind of knows it, like, you don't have a legacy, dude. The peculiar thing was the position of the body, like an arrow pointing us at something. Yes. Are you literally taking the plot of that one event in The Simpsons with Mr. Burns and shit? Who shot Mr. Burns? And it was just like he's on the, like, what was that, a sundial pointing, and it was just like, and then he fell down on the sundial, and it was pointing at W and S. From his perspective, though, it looked more like M and S. Maggie Simpson. Spoiler for a random mass Simpsons thing that, dude, if you didn't, and it's just like, people interpreted it as Waylon Smithers, but Smithers wouldn't do that because Smithers, and it actually had nothing to do with that. There was just so much other proof to point it out, and it was still really stupid. Don't steal candy from a baby, especially if that baby is Maggie. It appears the last thing Callahan saw in his hun life was a portrait of one Lord whatever his name is, the second Marquess of Londonderry, which is coincidentally where Callahan was born. Demosi was a reviled traitor, a heartless oppressor of all dissent, the main threat against each rebellion the Irish had gone through, successful in all ways but those that mattered to his people. It's just basically like my guy D'Angelo was just like, I mean, I was thinking about that. And I feel like you only got halfway through that, but okay. Some call him a tragic figure holding on to together selfish allies against a common threat, always fighting for a painful and unpopular compromises ruined by overwork, sickness, and poor public speaking skills. That is not how what's-his-name was presented or presented himself, but sure, fucking why not? The sheriff of the city says it. It must be true. Not hard to see why Douglas Callahan would empathize. You are my least favorite Malkavian ever that I can recall. You don't deserve that clan. Get out. I don't understand you. Are you faking it? Are you actually just like a Toreador? Or more likely a Ventru? Just pretending. Like, did a more powerful Ventru dominate you into believing that you were a Malkavian? Did they get some other low-level Malkavian to teach you dementation? I just don't get it. Polite snickers. Indeed. Especially when you realize that the sickness in his blood is failures, the hatred growing from his own people, and the growing paranoia led him to commit a dramatic suicide within his own four walls. I really hope Kadir is really just total soap operating this. Like, just chew on the scenery, dude, because I would have a hard time believing it just from my vague memory of this character from the last time. He's not the type to get he's you're like, oh no, he idolized this guy who was hated and no true is there a true Irishman in the bar, like, you know, and he just wasn't or whatever. No, he seems like the type of guy that's like, I get knocked down, but I get up again until eventually someone keeps me down because I'm a piece of shit. And then I die. And that's again. And it's probably for the best. Like, sorry, Chumbawamba. I like Chumbawamba. It just seems like such a poor assumption is instead of stabbing himself with a knife or a pen, he decided to let the sun embrace him in its warmth. Castleberry Fairy burning into his face, a poetic final death. Yes, because his clan is known for their poetic final deaths. Their honorability, their, you know, surrendering to failure. Again, he was a Ventru, right? Or is everyone a Toreador? Because a Toreador might do that, maybe. He just strikes me as a Ventru, and I think he was, and I just don't see a Ventru ever really. That just seems out of character. It's not closure we might have wanted. Yes, it's totally the closure. No. Fucking, I would punch you in the face. It totally is the closure you wanted. I don't know if you're in on it or you just suspect what you're saying isn't true, but you want to protect someone or someone's, and you are coming to this conclusion because you have authority to say it. But probably the best explanation for the motivation that we're going to get. Does everyone follow? You're talking to a room full of people most of whom actually may have in some way participated or at least known and agreed to his demise. This whole thing is a farce. You're out of order. This whole court's out of order. I shouldn't even be here. I'm not even supposed to be here today. Fuck all y'all. A heavy silence fills the room. Nobody speaks up except for Prince Bernard. Yeah, that's all you need. Literally, everyone could just shut the fuck up after that. As long as I don't say shit. Which, I'm gonna if they'll let me. To me, it's all perfectly understandable, agreeable, and most importantly, fits the man that I've come to understand over the last 2 decades. Because you guys were super close. Like, you knew him as a person in a positive way. This is totally the actions of somebody that you were close to in a good way. Not an enemy that you want gone and threatened you and blah 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 blah. Consentient murmurs resonate through the room. Fucking kangaroo court, man. Agreed, and I might add, Torque, you've been very eloquent and well spoken up to this point. I wouldn't. There were some irregularities in the handling of the crime scene, but the Anarch leader's findings suggest Callan's resentful ghouls were to blame. Oh, wow. No, you're muddying the waters. You should have just let him go with that and made it been like it's this tragic... like he committed seppuku or harakiri and he just chose to do it because he knew that he wasn't going to win. And that, now you're just like, but the ghouls could have done it. You're making it more complicated. You should shut the fuck up. Like, please keep talking because it benefits me, but you toxic shithead. But maybe you're actually trying to help. I don't know. Folks have been real happy to see him dead. Is all I'm saying. And they went overboard with the celebrations. They've all been interrogated, though. Yes, I have received all the resulting intel, and it's done nothing to change my mind. The depiction of Callahan's state of mind only served to support my suicide theory. Bruh, he would leave a note. He wouldn't do it in the first place. He would rather kill you all, or have you kill each other. Than him. Like, that's just, no. Like, I have to assume you're involved at this point because you know enough to know you're not speaking the truth. It is my suggestion that we all announce these findings to our respective communities first thing tomorrow night. Of course. Mr. Creepy. Sounds reasonable. I think that concludes this meeting. I'll let the keeper of the Elysium do the honors. No time wasted on... Yeah, basically it's like... Couldn't this just been done in an email? Oh, no. You guys are so big on your pomp and circumstance. You have to have your rituals. You have to have the gathering. Ooh. At this point, I almost want Kai to still be alive or have, like, some backup plan where he's just like, oh, yeah, I actually brainwashed a ghoul to, in the event I died, you know, just to have, like, a rocket-propelled grenade, fire it through this fucking window because I know that they will meet to talk about how they killed me, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna. And if it does happen, he'll do it, and then that will, it might not kill them, but it will definitely, they will not be having a nice day. Alright, does anyone have anything to add? Any questions to ask? Take your time. Thank you, Catherine. Let's see how I get shot down for even trying to attempt to follow through on that. Silence. So apparently I'm just like, I'm not even gonna bother. It's not worth my time because I'm just gonna get myself killed, right? I'll just be dead. Like, it's not like I wanted to. It's not like I thought I was gonna make this better. I just, whatever. I look at everyone just sitting it out in perfect agreement. Congrats, everyone! Congrats us! We achieved a perfect victory! No loose ends in rocking the boat. No nothing! Julia just biting her tongue, knowing it's bleeding and just being like, whatever, man. Makes you want to puke. How many of them contributed to this final report? How strong does Kadir believe the shit running from his mouth? He's always been a Camarilla loyalist, a fanatic even, but it's like, I know you got your position, but damn. I feel like I got to know you over the time, and you are just a little shit heel bootlicker. There's Julia. Oh, you're calling me out directly. Cool, 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 cool. This is it. Shit, I'm afraid. I'm gonna end it. Fuck. I'm like, I don't think I have choices, but shit.